Welcome back everyone, my name is Wessel and today we are continuing our trip to Jersey. Today we will be walking from Laporte to St. John near Bay of St. Paul, which is on the western side of the island, and it directly borders the Jersey National Park. Now, the Jersey National Park is a national park that surrounds about half of the island and covers most of the cliffs that are part of the island's coastline. But here on the western shores you have a little bit of a different terrain. The national park consists at the western coast of the more a broad band of dunes, hillsides and the occasional wetland. So that's a very nice addition to the cliffs that surround the rest of the island. Anyway, today is going to be a pretty long hike, about 26.5 kilometers. And it's quite windy, but I hope that when we reach the northern coast in that direction, the wind will be less prominent. So I hope you're going to enjoy. A bit further to the north, along the Bay of St. Paul, we find the Bouclet, a passage grave. That it is a passage grave refers to the shape of the dolmen, since it's a corridor with a larger hole at the end of it, which is over here, and a little offshoot over here. Now, this dolmen is about 6,000 years old, which is particularly old. It must be one of the oldest human-made buildings that I've ever seen. The rocks of this dolmen have different origins, but all of them are from the island of Jersey. Some of them come from the region here, and a few of them are from further south, near Le Corbière, and we know that because they are granite rocks, and the way granite forms is lava cools down and turns into granite, and the speed with which the lava cools down changes the texture and the appearance of the granite. And since different parts of the island of Jersey cool down at different rates, you can find different types of granite on the island. Anyway, from here we will be heading a little bit further northwest to the very northwestern corner of the island, and then we will follow the north coast. At the very northwestern tip of Jersey we find the ruins of Gros-Nez Castle. And even though the French word nez means nose, this castle has nothing to do with noses. In fact, the name Gros-Nez Castle comes from the Nordic words Grarnes, which means grey headland. And even though the castle is now mostly ruined, it was once a shelter against the French after it was built in the 14th century. And if we go a little bit further into the ruins, to the actual headland, then we have a few for the first time, it wasn't yet a group of islands. It was connected to the French mainland, and after the last ice age the sea levels rose, and so the islands became separate islands. And we know this because in the sea, this side of the island, the remains of forests have been found. And I can only imagine that there may also be some dolmens on the seafloor here. So about 5 kilometers after Castle Gronet, we reach the halfway point of our trip through Jersey. Now along this path here we have walked about 65 kilometers since St. Helier, and considering our hike on the island is about 130 kilometers, we are now about halfway through. Also, it appears that the strong winds on the west side of the island are a lot less strong here on the northern coast, since the wind came from the west. Anyway, from here it is some 11 or 12 kilometers until we reach the end of today's hike, and that will be the village of St. John. This hilltop over here is Le Catel de Lec, and even though it's only 81 meters above sea level, it basically immediately borders the sea. So if you look at this from the other side, it is quite the magnificent cliff, and it overlooks the valley of Grève de Lec. So yeah, that's quite a nice view. Anyway, we're gonna continue a little bit further this way. So only about 6 kilometers before reaching the village of St. John, we reach this place, and this place is known as the Devil's Hole. Now the reason this exists is because there used to be a cave here, and due to the tide and the waves, the roof of this cave eroded and eventually collapsed, leaving a crater with a diameter of 30 meters and a depth of, I don't actually know how deep it is, but very deep. That's a fact. Maybe about 70 meters deep. So that is definitely a very nice sight to see. And on this side we have a view over the north coast of Jersey, which is very rocky and has a lot of cliffs, and I love it. Anyway, it is time to continue. So we have almost reached the village of St. John, and that means that today's episode will come to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. I most definitely did. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you all next time.